Hey guys, welcome to this week's track guide. Week 9 I think at Bathurst. Another one of my favourite skippy tracks. It's a bit drafty and it's a bit difficult to drop people. The only real place to drop people is down the dipper. But it's still a really good track and you can have some really good battles on this track. So hopefully it should be a good week for everyone. Let's get straight into it then guys. So track temperature currently 22 degrees. Date and time should be set to what it's set to next week. This is currently set to the 13th of February, but the schedule says the 9th of February. But when you load into a test session from the schedule, it takes you to the 13th. But close enough, so doesn't really matter, does it? Right, setup this week. 54% brake bias, minimum tyre pressures all round, 8 on the anti-roll bar, same as ever, guys. This week, though, we're running a 3 on the SPO. I'd love to run a 5 here, but you just can't because of the drop down the dipper. If you run a +5 and you go down the dipper, then you will end up with front wing damage. I know, I've tested it, I've been there, I've done it. But you can get away with a +3, so that's what I'm running this week. Okay then guys, on to the guide. The lap we're going to look at today is a 230.896. I did do some earlier testing in the week and this testing was just to put one solid lap together to get a decent lap in. The B lap and O lap files as ever guys, and all the setup files from my Discord. There's an invite link in the description if you want to join that. Right then, let's get into it. Okay, coming down across the start finish line up towards turn 1 in 4th gear. Let's just go to the cockpit. Relatively easy turn 1. We're going to brake at the 50-meter board, drop the car down in the 2nd gear, turn in at the same time. 50% brake. Don't really like to touch this curb on the inside. It tends to unsettle the car a little bit. You can see I just run over it with the front wheel here. But you can really chuck the car through this corner. Throw the car through this corner and use all this curb on the exit out here. They get a really good drive down this straight because this straight is uphill. If you've got a car behind you, expect to be drafted up into turn 2, I think it is. Oh, the right camera angle. Keep it in 4th gear. We're going to go up to 5th gear just as we get over the top of this little brow over here. Coming up towards turn 2. Okay, another relatively straightforward corner. One thing I would say about this corner is you can really chuck the car through this corner. It looks a tight corner on the entry, but the exit is quite wide. So once you get used to it, it's a little bit dodgy on cold tires, but once the tires warm up, it's relatively easy to really carry a load of momentum into this corner and through it. We're going to be in 5th gear. Again, we're looking at the 50-meter board. The 50-meter board is the brake marker for this corner, and we're going to drop the car into 3rd gear. So hit that, off the accelerator. Not really a heavy braking zone, but you can see I'm trailing off the brakes a little bit. Down into 3rd gear, keep the car tight to the inside, and then see how early we are back on the power. As I said earlier, it looks like a little bit of a tight corner, but as soon as you get through this little tight-ish bit, you can really get back on the power early, and then it's 100% throttle to get a really good drive and carry as much momentum through the corner as you can. And then you can bring the car to the left-hand side. You can get on this curb if you need to. Just be a little bit careful mounting this curb because that solid concrete wall on the outside. Now I go up in the 4th gear here. You can keep it in 3rd and just flip off the limiter a couple of times. It makes this next corner easier because you only need to drop 1 gear down in the 2nd. There's not really much time to be gained going up into 4th. But try it in practice. Last season, I was staying in 3rd gear all the way up through here and coming off the limiter a little bit. This season, I've gone up to 4th, but it doesn't really matter all that much. Not a whole lot of time to be gained. And staying in 3rd makes this corner easier because you just need to drop 1 gear in the 2nd instead of dropping 2 gears. So, as we come up to this next corner, a really important corner this. Really important because the whole up the hill and the next bit is flat out. You really need a good drive out round this corner and through it. So, no really need to get tight to the curb here. Just run across the outside and let the car drift to the outside here. So as soon as we come round this corner, just as we get round it and under this straight bit, we're going to come off the accelerator, use a little bit of brake and drop the car down into second gear. And then I kind of coast into this corner in the first bit. And then you can see how early I am back on the power. I just go to the cockpit. So as we come round, we drop the car into second gear. And then at this point, I am back to 100% throttle. Okay? I'm this far away from the corner of the apex, and I'm on the throttle really, really early. You can use the camber of the road to really dig the car into this corner. I think in my track guide last year, my front wheel was actually touching this inside wall. You can see how close I actually get to the inside. But at 100% throttle really early. Maybe a tad wide there, but that's okay. Over this little hump. And then from this point, to the dipper is pretty much flat out all the way. So we're going to go into third gear. Tight to this corner. And then bring the car to the left hand side of the track. Tight to this corner. Just as we come over the top of this brow, we're going to go up into fourth. Just try to open up the corners a little bit. This is flat on cold tyres as well. You just need to open the corners up a little bit more than I am here. You can see easy flat out through this top bit. This next left-hander may be a bit questionable flat on cold tyres. It is possible to do on cold tyres, but it may be a little bit dodgy. To turn in for this corner, cockpit, it's a little bit dodgy because you come over, you don't really know, can't really see where the corner is. You just gotta know it's there. So as we come over the top of this brow, just as we hit the very top of this hill is where we start turning in for this corner. So really early turning. And then we're going to ride this red and white curb inside here. We're going to let the car drift to the outside of the track. So yeah, I don't really go all that wide. On cold tyres, you may run a little bit wider than this. You've got to be really careful of this black. What colour is it? Red and white curb on the outside. I did it last season where I ran a little bit wide and I got on this curb and my wheel touched the grass and then I was around and I was in this wall over here and I was dead. So be really careful of this outside curb. If you're going to avoid it at all costs, avoid it. Right, I keep the car in fourth gear. You can go up to fifth, but again, it's an extra downshift and it doesn't really gain you that much time anyway, so keep it in fourth gear through here. Really wide on the entry to the best part of the track, I think. Because of the cockpit. Really wide on the entry. And just as we start to turn in, I just come off the accelerator just a little bit, just to feather the car through this first bit of the corner, and then we're going to take as straight a line as possible. We're going to drop the car into third gear. So just as we get through this corner, the first braking zone, dropping the car into third gear, and then coming off the brakes a little bit as we go over this curb. And then as we come off this curb, we're going to drop the car down into second gear for the second braking zone. I think I said this in my last Bathurst track guide. There's 3 separate braking zones. You've got the first braking zone, you drop the car into third. The second braking zone, you drop it into second to go around this corner. And then back on the throttle, not for very long, just a little bit. Just to gain that extra little bit of speed. And then down through the dipper in second gear. You can see how early I am on the power. Getting on the power really early through the dipper really stabilizes the car and gets you a good drive out of the corner. If you're pretty confident you're going to make the dipper, it might take some practice, but if you're pretty confident that you're going to make the dipper, just get back on the power really early and practice getting on the power earlier. I promise you will gain time if you see how early I'm back on the power. And it really stabilizes the car and stops you running into this outside wall here. So, let me just go through it again. Just to show you guys. So we come in, we're going to go fourth. First braking zone, we're going to go down the third. Let off the brakes over this hump. Second braking zone, down into second. Round this corner, little blip of the throttle. And then down through the dipper and back to 100% throttle. Maybe need a little bit of brake before the big dipper bit here. I haven't done on this occasion, but if you're on cold tires, you may need a little bit of brakes here. Just to get some more rotation to get the car through here tight with a good line. And we're going to go up the third gear and we're going to go up the fourth. Keeping the car to the left. As we come into here. So just as we go around this left hand corner. Fourth gear. I'm going to come off a little bit of brakes. We're going to drop the car into third gear just as we go around this corner. We're going to keep the car tight to the right hand side of the track for the forest elbow coming up. Now we can see I'm on the brakes here. I'm in third gear. We're going to drop the car into second. And we're going to get really tight on the inside. Now one thing I will mention, guys, when you're coming down in this braking zone is really dodgy. A lot of people struggled last season with being able to hold the car and being able to control the car down into this braking zone. It is obviously downhill, it's off camber, the car wants to slide away from you. I haven't done it on this particular occasion, but if you hold the accelerator at about just 5%, so as you come round this corner, when you start braking, I'm on the accelerator here. When you start braking, you can see a little blip of the throttle. When you're braking, if you hold the accelerator at about 5%, 5 or 10% throttle, then the car will stabilize for you and you'll be a hell of a lot more stable. You won't get that wobbliness coming into this braking zone. I haven't done it on this occasion because the tires are warm enough. I will probably do this in a lot of the races though, and especially in qualifying or on cold tires when you really need the car to be stable. Just holding that 10% throttle really does stabilize the car a lot more. Come by the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BenEvs if you want to see that in action this week. Okay, dropping the car into second, and then we're going to get really tight around the inside. Concentrating on the drive out of this corner rather than the entry. You can see how tight I am to this inside. I'm really using the camber of this road to dig the car into the inside of this corner. Then you can see how early I am back on the power again. You know, sort of getting back on the power mid-corner. And then letting the car run to the outside. Careful of this wall on the right-hand side here. To get a really good drive down this straight. Again, it's a bit of a drafty track, and if you're not too far ahead, people are going to catch you down this really long straight, and there's not much you can do to stop them from overtaking you. Especially if you're in third place and getting the double draft of 2 cars in front of you. Can be a bit dodgy coming 3 wide down here, but I've seen it done. Done it myself. Full of content. Okay, up in the 5th gear. Bring the car to the left hand side, just to open up this corner a little bit more. Flat through this corner, keeping the car to the right hand side of the track. To the cockpit. Looking at the 100-meter board and also this bit of dirt on the floor here is the braking zone. Braking zone brake marker. So from 5th gear, quite a heavy braking zone. We're going to go down into 3rd. You see I'm up to about 75% there. Trailing off the brakes into the corner. Now, I've just hit this inside curb here a little bit. I don't particularly normally like to use this inside curb because it can kind of throw you out into this grass. But on this occasion, it's not so bad. And then get back on the power early. Be careful of this corner. If I just show you in cockpit, this exit apex really comes up on you very, very quickly. If I show you its full speed. See how quickly this corner comes up on you? Just gotta be a little bit careful. I've seen people running out wide and across this grass and doing bad rejoins after this, but again, it's something you practice and practice, and you get used to. Okay, down towards the final corner. Fourth gear. We're gonna drop the car in a second. Brake marker is this lamppost here. Or if you haven't got all this nice lampposty shrubbery turned on, then this uses dirt on the road. If you come up towards it as we just get in line with it, drop the car, really heavy braking zone again, 50%, dropping the car down into second gear. Coming through this corner. Again, early on the power. Now you'll see that I lose about half a tenth out of this corner because the car just gets away from me a little bit, and I get a little bit slidey on the exit of here, but not so bad. The one thing you want to do is avoid this inside curb here. Don't want to be touching that, so avoid that at all costs. And again, a good drive down across the start-finish line. As you see, the car just gets a little bit loose here, a little bit slidey, and it costs me over half a tenth through this corner. It's not much, but time could have been a little bit quicker. I'm sure there's more time to be found on this track this week. Especially with the draft, you're going to see probably low 30s times. If you want to pop by the Twitch, guys, I obviously stream 5 days a week. Pushing for that Twitch partner at the moment, so any support over there would be very much appreciated. Hot lap is coming next, and also there's some bonus content after the hot lap on how to nail the jump, because it's basically after every race you got to do the jump on this track. So let me know how your jumps go this week, guys, and good luck with the races. If you nail the jump, leave me a comment down below, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the Discord, I'll see you in the practice sessions, I'll see you in the races. Good luck, and I will catch you next week.
Well, that was at 2:31.30. Sector 3 time is fast. Sector 1 time's okay. Sector 2 time is okay. closer. 230.90. Sector 3.
You need to slow down if you don't want a penalty.
Kind of nailed.